Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this symposium on AI ethics and governance, organized by the Research Center for Sustainable Hong Kong, with the support of Institute of Certified Management Accountants Hong Kong branch and the Institute of Public Accountants. As the use of artificial intelligence system becomes popular worldwide, in response to rising public awareness of the topic locally, the Research Center initiated a research project on AI governance, ethics and policy challenges in Hong Kong. And this symposium consists of 2 sessions. And the first session is a presentation of the research project findings. And the second session is a panel discussion. As the report of research project findings targets at the general public, so the presentation will be in Cantonese, and the panel discussion, the presentation of the panelists will be in English, as their presentation is more professional and academic oriented. And there will be a Q&A after each sections, and we will conduct the Q&A in Cantonese. But you are also most welcome to use English if you wish. 或者我開始簡單講我哋嗰個研究計劃先啦。咁呢個研究計劃咧，其中一個主要部分咧，我哋就係做咗一個民意嘅調查。咁個民意調查咧，我哋就主要咧係探討即係受訪者咧係對一啲同人工智能嗰個治理有關嘅一啲價值嘅睇法。咁同埋咧，我哋亦都同啲亦都調查嘅被訪者咧，去面對之一啲唔同嘅情景之下咧，一啲特殊情景之下咧，佢哋會再點樣考慮呢啲咁嘅價值嘅，即係點樣再考慮呢啲咁嘅價值。咁然之後咧，我哋就再嘗試對佢哋嗰個嘅回應咧係作一個嘅分析。咁或者我而家將個時間交俾George 咧，又去講一講即係我哋嗰個嘅研究嗰個發現啦。唔該。
Thank you, Dr. Chan. 以下落嚟，我會發表我哋嘅研究結果啦。完整嘅研究報告咧就有待完成。有興趣咧可以留意我哋 CSHK 嘅網頁。呢個係我哋研究成員嘅名單啦，而係我係 on behalf of 我哋嘅 research team 啦喺度 present 嘅。呢個係我哋研究結果嘅匯報流程。唔知大家有冇留意到啦？其實我哋活動嘅 poster 啦，同埋 e-backdrop 啦，上面嗰幅畫咧，其實用 AI gen 出嚟嘅。咁自2016年人工智能 AlphaGo 擊敗韓國嘅世界級圍棋棋士之後啦，世界開始關注人工智能應用可能帶嚟嘅影響。隨住唔同類型嘅智能技術日益成熟，世界各地嘅政府、企業以及研究機構啦，都開始逐漸留意翻 AI 技術嘅潛力同埋潛在嘅倫理同埋管治議題。香港特別行政區政府喺2017年發表首部香港智慧城市藍圖，並喺2020年發布後續嘅 2.0 版本，銳意加強人工智能技術嘅發展基建同埋人才培訓，把握技術潛力。藍圖具有政策指示同埋展示作用。雖然有關技術倫理、管治同立法嘅問題喺國外啦，仍然屬於起步階段。作為香港城市大學持續研究中心 CSHK 嘅研究者啦，我哋認知到相關議題咧對締造創科友善嘅環境而言咧非常之重要，而本地研究啦亦唔應該過分假手落後於人。參考國內外研究啦，我哋開始咗呢項名為《人工智能管治：香港的倫理與政策挑戰》研究計劃，環繞倫理價值、技術類型同場景以及邊個嚟管治等等全球研究者所關注嘅核心問題作深入探討。我哋並唔認為啦，今次以香港為重心嘅研究啦，能夠一蹴而就咁樣提供晒所有 關於人工智能技術嘅管治上面嘅見解。我哋希望咧今次研究啦可以承接國外研究之先，拋磚引玉，等未來情況許可再作深入研究。承接國內外研究上面仲要探索嘅問題啦，我哋嘅研究計劃咧喺香港引入一系列人工智能倫理原則同相關討論，包括辨識香港市民對人工智能喺應用上面值得關注嘅倫理價值，了解市民對當中倫理價值同原則嘅意見，以及佢哋面對潛在衝突時所發表嘅取態。我哋研究咧會兼顧倫理價值以及應用技術場景，聚焦香港市民對人工智能喺應用上面嘅觀感同意見，作描述同分析，提供初步嘅政策建議。以下落嚟，我將簡述呢個研究入面幾個工作定義。我哋採用經濟合作暨發展組織 OECD 對人工智能嘅工作定義，即係一種基於機械嘅系統，可以就人類所定義嘅目標作出預測，提供建議，對真實或虛擬環境作出影響或決策。而人工智能系統被設計成可以喺唔同自主程度下運作。我哋研究問題入面咧嘅人工智能應用都有特定嘅場景同埋具體嘅目標嘅。而呢次研究入面所講嘅倫理價值啦，係一啲提供動機嘅嘢嚟嘅，無論係需求驅使啦 drive， 或者係目標激勵 incentive。當呢啲倫理價值咧隨住特定嘅判斷規律並扣連到具體嘅事物上面咧，佢哋就會成為倫理原則。而倫理規範咧就係透過具體嘅機制同權力結構下所作出嘅倫理原則實踐。一個價值咧可以套用多個判斷原則。例如穩健性呢個價值咧係一種基於人類對風險嘅規避或者安全嘅需求而產生嘅普遍動機。喺工程或者產品安全上面啦，當穩健性嘅要求需要符合指定嘅安全標準或滿足特定水平嘅時候，佢就會變成原則。根據場景、應用技術類型同各地文化差異啦，呢一類穩健性原則咧並唔係 one size fit all 普遍適用嘅。譬如喺核能應用上面啦，歐洲地區會期望相關機構採用 precautionary principle 預防原則以應對核風險。喺 Teflon 易結鑊上面啦，即使我哋冇辦法確實知道呢類產品咧喺實際日常家居應用環境下長期致癌風險有幾高，但係同樣嘅預防原則啦並唔適用喺呢類產品上面嘅。最後，當機構要求以法律或市場力量統一某一個安全標準，並對生產者提供補助或處罰機制嘅時候啦，呢類機制就會成為規範。所以規範同管治嘅關係咧係最為密切嘅。至於管治一詞啦，有多個涵義，而喺呢啲唔同用法面咧，都有一點共通之處嘅。但係管治咧並唔係政府獨有嘅，政府以外嘅架構、企業同個人，往往喺管治入面咧共同咁樣充當重要角色。我哋嘅研究計劃啦，分為3個部分：文獻研究、半結構訪談同電話訪問。今次研究結果發表咧，主要涵蓋電話訪問結果。完整嘅研究內容咧，請留意日後發表嘅研究報告。我哋嘅研究小組啦，喺2022年3月委託傳播與民意調查中心喺4月至5月進行人工智能治理中的倫理價值與原則意見調查。Sample size 咧係500個人，回應率大概係36%。呢次電話問卷調查咧，探討市民對唔同類型嘅場景同人工智能應用相關嘅倫理價值同觀感。唔涉及具體行為經驗。由於人工智能應用啦對港人而言啦，可能相對比較陌生啊，所以我哋問卷設計咧並唔要求受訪者對人工智能應用咧係有認知嘅。例如我哋唔會要求佢哋係咪知道日常生活入面有啲咩人工智能應用。問卷嘅問題大致分為5類。左手邊2類問題咧並冇提供智能應用同埋場景嘅描述，包括 decontextualize 去語境化嘅價值排序啦，同埋去語境化嘅價值取捨。右手邊3類問題咧，我哋就提供咗4個情景，包括健康碼、欺詐偵測系統、無人駕駛自動汽車以及機械犬監控。喺呢4個情景入面咧，我哋會問受訪者喺特定智能應用技術同埋場景之下嘅價值取捨，應唔應該採用或者有幾接受呢啲人工智能應用，以及喺呢啲人工智能應用嘅技術同場景之下，邊個嘅意見應該被優先考慮？左手邊咧，去語境化問題咧，就係針對倫理價值嘅啫；而情景題咧，就同時針對特定應用技術同埋場景以及倫理價值嘅。詮釋呢啲問題嘅調查結果啦，會涉及3個基礎問題嘅。 第一樣嘢就係受訪者對於呢啲價值問題呈現咗點樣嘅傾向或者判斷原則咧。第二樣嘢就係受訪者對於價值問題嘅回應係咪一致，以及如果唔一致嘅話咧，佢呢種一致性咧會喺咩時候改變嘅？以下係問卷調查嘅結果。我哋選取咗相關文獻入面最常出現嘅5個倫理價值，並要求受訪者就佢哋嘅重要程度個別咁由1至7分做評分。呢啲價值包括透明、個人自由、私隱、穩健性同埋無偏差。喺缺乏特定應用場景框架同埋資訊嘅引導之下啦，我哋發現受訪者普遍認同呢啲倫理價值咧喺人工智能應用上面嘅重要性，而且咧唔受性別、年齡同教育程度等因素影響。我哋認為前者咧呈現咗受訪者啦喺缺乏特定應用場景技術嘅框架同埋資訊引導之下啦，傾向對呢啲價值咧採取咗最大化原則或者策略。整體而言啦，每一個價值咧都有約4至5成受訪者咧選擇最高分嘅選項7分，而大約有7至8成咧係傾向重要嘅。受訪者咧喺呢5個倫理價值之間嘅回應咧差異唔大，以傾向重要咧做一個初步排序啦。排第一嘅咧係私隱，其次係穩健，跟住係個人自由同透明。呢兩個價值大致相若，而無偏差咧係排最後嘅。喺同樣缺乏特定應用場景框架同埋資訊引導之下啦，受訪者咧被要求對上述5個倫理價值嘅重要程度依次作出取捨，最後保留3個比較重要嘅，並排除2個唔重要嘅。喺唔加權嘅情況下啦，呢類價值取捨咧同個別評分喺整體價值排序上面咧差異唔係好大，大抵一致。由於取捨題嘅設置啦，唔容許受訪者採取最大化原則，所以個最大化個傾向消失咗啦。喺呢3條取捨題入面咧，個人自由、個人私隱同埋系統透明咧受到最多受訪者選擇保留，而系統無偏差咧就最少人保留。值得留意嘅係啦，即使我哋冇提供 AI 嘅場景啦，呢啲價值咧仍然呈現咗某種結構嘅。一組受訪者啦會連帶咁保留個人自由、私隱同透明，而另一組受訪者啦會連帶咁樣保留穩健同無偏差。呢樣意味住咧呢兩組價值啦對受訪者而言啦，佢哋嘅內在關係咧會比較密切。與此同時啦，比照翻 decontextualize 去語境化嘅嗰啲問題啦，當同一個受訪者咧喺透明度同埋私隱或者個人自由都選擇咗最高分選項啦，但係喺取捨情況之下咧，佢哋會更優先選擇私隱、個人自由，而透明度咧個優先度咧會排得比較後嘅。接住落嚟係講情景題嘅一啲結果。喺健康碼、欺詐偵測系統同埋無人駕駛自動汽車3個情景入面咧，問卷要求受訪者啦對一組2個價值，例如個人自由同系統穩健性之間做取捨。喺俾咗特定情景框架同埋資訊之後啦，我哋發現，首先喺取捨之下啦，系統成效咧相對於其他價值咧，例如透明同私隱，整體而言咧，成效咧係相對嚟講唔重要嘅。而其次啦，同之前 decontextualize 所得嘅結果唔同啦，人工智能倫理價值嘅排序咧出現咗轉變，有更加多嘅受訪者認為咧系統透明比個人自由重要。如果你將成效理解為穩健性啦，更加多嘅受訪者咧認為個人自由比穩健性重要。喺欺詐偵測上面啦，市民認為系統透明同個人自由至於成效嘅重要性咧，個傾向性咧係比健康碼同埋無人駕駛自動汽車系統咧更加強烈嘅。而喺系統透明同個人自由之於成效嘅取捨上面咧，健康碼咧係比欺詐偵測系統嘅情形咧出現咗更加多難以取捨嘅情況。我哋認為咧現實經驗複雜性咧可令到受訪者更難做取捨。而喺無人駕駛自動汽車版本嘅電車難題入面啦，問題預設受訪者係一場交通事故意外，無人駕駛自動汽車系統上面嘅乘客面對2個選擇：撞死行人或者轉向隧道牆壁撞死自己。一半數受訪者咧係選擇後者嘅。喺應否採用接受程度呢一類問題上面啦，受訪者咧被要求選擇應唔應該採用特定人工智能應用，包括健康碼、欺詐偵測系統同無人駕駛自動汽車系統，以及表達對特定智能嘅接受程度，包括機械犬監控。喺應唔應該採用嘅問題上面啦， 健康碼同欺詐偵測系統咧，受訪者嘅意見咧係分歧嘅，大約半數受訪者認為應該採用，半數認為唔應該採用。對於無人駕駛自動汽車系統啦，約2/3嘅受訪者認為唔應該，意見比較明確。喺接受程度方面啊，機械犬監控上面咧，回答難以決定嘅受訪者佔大約2/5，傾向唔接受嘅比較多，佔40%，而傾向接受嘅咧佔大約1/3。喺同一類問題上面啦，我哋發現受訪者對健康碼系統同埋欺詐偵測系統嘅回應咧，相當吻合嘅。大約80%受訪者啦，喺呢兩類人工智能應用上面咧，表達咗一致嘅意見。換句説話講啦，當佢認為應該採用其中一類 AI 應用嘅時候啦，好大機會咧，佢哋會同時認為應該採用另外一個。調翻轉亦都一樣。至於機械犬監控上面啦，如果我哋排除難以決定嘅部分，淨係簡化咁樣考慮接受或者唔接受，受訪者對機械犬監控嘅意見咧，同另外嗰兩類應用咧係相當接近嘅。但係喺無人駕駛自動汽車系統上面啦，受訪者表達意見咧，同另外3類人工智能系統咧唔太一樣。我哋冇辦法以受訪者對呢樣應用啦，應唔應該採用啦，預測佢對另外3類智能應用嘅意見。透過人口統計資料做回歸分析啦，我哋發現啦，喺健康碼系統同欺詐偵測系統上面咧，受訪者嘅年齡越大啦，越傾向接受；教育程度越高，越傾向唔接受。而機械犬監控上面啦，我哋未喺統計學上觀察到年齡同教育程度對接受程度嘅影響。而同上一項發現相反啦，喺無人駕駛自動汽車上面咧，我哋發現受訪者年齡越大，越傾向唔接受；而教育程度越高，越傾向接受。喺管治嘅問題上面啦，政府以外嘅架構、企業同個人啦，往往充當相當重要嘅角色。所以當我哋問及邊個嘅意見應該被優先考慮嘅時候咧，呢條問題咧係一定程度上反映管治上唔同角色應該點樣配置。喺給予特定技術場景同埋框架嘅資訊之後啦，要佢哋做價值取捨。受訪者需要回答咧，佢哋認為邊個嘅意見應該被優先考慮。我哋發現啦，無論應用技術同場景啦，整體而言，有60%受訪者認為受影響嘅市民嘅意見應該被優先考慮，而且佢哋會規避考慮私人企業嘅意見。實際上，只有大約2% 嘅受訪者啦認為企業咧係做呢啲取捨抉擇嘅最佳人選。受訪者咧喺健康碼系統同欺詐偵測系統嘅回應咧就相當一致嘅。而受影響嘅市民呢樣選項之外啦，更加多人咧會係揀相關公共機構，大約佔1/4至1/5，其次係第三方專業人士，約大概1%。無人駕駛自動汽車系統咧則有少少唔同啦，第三方專業人士咧佔大約1/4。另外，我哋觀察到啦，喺價值取捨入面啦，選擇咗難以取捨嘅受訪者啦，有大概5至6成半咧，依然咧傾向認為受影響嘅市民咧嘅意見應該被優先考慮嘅。我哋呢次電話訪問入面啦，受訪者嘅性別年齡啦，只係同上一次統計處嘅人口調查數字咧係有少許差距嘅啫。但係咧喺教育程度上面啦，我哋喺小學程度咧就收少咗大概10% 嘅受訪者，而喺大學或以上學歷嘅人咧就收多咗10% 嘅。咁換言之，呢次調查入面啦，高等教育人士嘅意見咧係會被放大咗嘅。剛才我所分享嘅問卷調查所得啦，係一啲比較描述性 descriptive 嘅結果，並冇加入太多詮釋。而喺最尾咧，我哋嘗試拋磚引玉咁提供一啲可能嘅解讀，以供討論同思考。首先，我哋見到好多時候啦，各地政府同科技企業等等機構咧，相繼草擬並公佈一系列有關人工智能嘅倫理價值同原則文件，加埋埋咧已經超過100份㗎啦。而呢啲文件咧，雖然往往會提及倫理原則呢啲咁嘅字眼啊，但係就我哋嘅工作定義而言啦，呢啲原則咧，其實咧比較接近價值，同具體嘅水平或者特定嘅標準咧係一定距離嘅。喺管治嘅角度嚟睇啦，尤其是我哋見到咧，市民咧有一種最大化嘅傾向啦，去看待呢啲價值嘅時候咧，只提價值，少提原則，甚至規範咧，可以令大家好快速咁樣咧取得共識，減少分歧，為政策推動需求。代價咧就係可能呢種最大化嘅策略咧，可能會令到大家嘅要求越嚟越高，實際上好難滿足。第二，我哋發現無人駕駛同其他幾類智能系統唔同啦。對於倫理價值嘅要求唔同咧，有可能意味住我哋要以唔同嘅原則同規範去處理佢哋。當然，對於人工智能管治啦，我哋需要更加多嘅技術場景設計嚟作一個分類啦。現階段咧只係一種試探嚟啫。 第三，就電車難題而言啦，香港市民嘅回應咧，可能反映出咧香港人咧對自己或者技術使用者啦，為自己負責咧嗰個傾向咧係比較強嘅。而面對技術表現抗拒咧嘅可能原因啦，可以從面對具體情景，市民唔一定有好明確嘅價值決定，提出一啲端倪。尤其是咧喺價值取捨上面啊，回答難以取捨嘅受訪者嚟講啦，當中有5至6成半咧依然認為受影響嘅市民應該被優先考慮。個情況咧就好似當一個人咧認為自己唔知應該點做好咧，而自己又係做決定嗰個咧，好多時候佢哋最後會選擇咩都唔做，包括拒絕新技術啦。對於呢一點咧，我哋嘅意見係咧，做好技術嘅教育，令市民可以喺具體而明確嘅框架之下，知道自己嘅價值同需求，做取捨。咁樣咧有可能令到咧佢哋可以改變對技術嘅抗拒。最後我哋見到咧企業咧其實比較難爭取市民信任啦。呢一點咧同國外嘅研究咧係比較接近嘅。所以我哋認為啦，公共機構以及第三方專業人士嘅參與啦非常重要。我嘅匯報去到呢度，關於調查結果分享內容咧，亦都到此結束。
OK，多謝阿 George 嘅匯報啊。咁而家我哋Q&A 嘅時間。請問唔知大家有冇咩問題可以隨意發表？大家有冇咩意見咧？
Gilly 舉咗手嘅。
係啊，舉咗手。
係。
我想問一條問題啫，就係因為你一個好 interesting 嘅 findings 咧，就係其實啲市民大眾咧，一般嚟講都唔係好信啲企業講嘅嘢，基本上係咪？咁係 based on 呢個 study 嘅 findings 咧，on post engagement 嗰度有冇揾啲商會啊或者啲企業去交流下，睇下佢哋嗰個嘅反應係點啊？如果市民大眾唔信佢哋嘅話，咁佢哋 moving forward 其實都唔容易 win 到個 trust 嘅，因為喺我哋消委會發表個報告嚟講咧，其實有一樣嘢都係好需要咧，就係 trader 係要做多啲功夫。咁睇下你哋呢一方面有冇一啲嘅之後嗰個嘅啲 engagement 佢哋嘅 response，所以大家 share 下。
我哋都做過一個訪問嘅，有大概有20幾個被訪者，23個被訪者。咁就都有提到話對企業嗰個唔信任嘅問題。咁但係亦都有啲好積極嘅建議咧，佢就係話有時好多時你要推出一樣嘢嘅時候咧，就揾一個比較中立嘅第三者去將一啲嘢去解釋咧，就個市民個接受程度就會係高好多嘅。咁因為咧，譬如話你如果由 IDA 或者即係由政府去推一樣嘢，或者由企業去推一樣嘢嘅時候咧，就可能會有一種不信任嘅情況喺裏邊。咁譬如健康碼咁樣樣，咁如果你係由大學即係研究嘅係支援嘅做出嚟嘅，咁嘅時候市民對嗰個擔心嘅程度亦都即係會低咗。咁因為同埋我哋而家個研究發現咧，就係香港對嗰個私隱權啊同埋個人嗰個自由係睇得好着重嘅。咁但係亦都佢咧連帶到將樣嘢連帶到個透明度。咁透明度咧，如果佢知道嗰樣嘢嗰時候係點樣運作，而能夠好坦白咁話到俾人聽嗰個譬如某個軟件係點樣運作嘅時候，咁嗰好多時嘅擔心啊或者顧慮咧都唔會喺度。咁嗰個新嘅科技咧就會受到即係市民嘅接受程度咧就高咗啦。咁就變咗就會出現一個即係互利嘅結果。咁所以一啲中介組織嘅介入啊，即係一啲公共機構啊，即係例如好似消委會咁啊，或者例如好似大學咁啊，如果能夠係參與同埋係俾到一啲獨立嘅意見嘅時候咧，就對呢個科技發展係會有個好處。
咁我都有少少講啊，就係最主要就係都響特別我哋呢個應用場景裏邊咧，都係有只係得2個係比較私人企業會推出嚟用咧。第一個係涉及係公共企業出嚟應用嘅人工智能嘅應用啦。咁特別係即係智能汽車啊同埋 即係欺詐系統啦。咁但係呢方面咧，就其實我亦都未直接響呢兩個場景裏邊咧，同有關嘅嗰個企業咧做一個進一步嘅了解嘅。咁但係其實呢個都係一個好重要嘅一個課題啦。咁我諗呢度都可以作為我哋響即係日後如果再有即係嗰個再一步研究嗰陣時咧，喺呢方面我哋都會做多啲功夫啦。
因為Dr. Lin 問咗個問題，佢話我哋有冇訪問過？我哋做訪問嘅時候冇問到嗰啲被訪者，即係我哋做 interview 嘅時候啊。係，我哋做 interview 嘅時候，我哋發覺就係我哋喺我哋嘅調查咧，喺我哋嘅 survey 咧，就2/3人係唔係好接受嗰個自動車㗎嘛。但係我哋做嗰20幾個嘅訪問咧，即係因為裏邊訪問嘅人都比較多係專業人士啊，同埋個教育背景係比較高。咁結果咧就我覺得佢哋嘅就對自動車嘅認受程度係高嘅。但係如果你訪問咧，普遍市民咧，即係就咁抽樣，譬如我哋抽500個人去訪問嘅時候咧，發現香港嘅社會咧就好似唔接受嘅係多過接受嘅對自動車。咁呢個我哋都好難諗到個背後係乜嘢，即係而家我哋冇直接問啊，即係我哋最多都可能係猜測嘅啫啊。即係可能有人話香港嘅路面啊好複雜咁樣，可能好唔安全、好危險啊咁樣，即係冇推呢啲有個推啊，即係我哋都未知道。咁但係又亦都發現咧，就係話如果到更加多受教育嘅人咧，就會接受即係自動車啊。但係調翻轉喎，佢哋就唔接受咧嗰個嘅健康碼同埋嗰個偵測系統喎，佢哋係相反嘅喎。即係可能即係受過教育嗰啲人特別擔心嗰個私隱啊，個人自由受到侵犯嗰樣嘢啦。咁變咗咧就，因為你講起自動車嘅時候咧，好少人聯想起你嘅私隱係會受到侵犯啊，或者其他嘢。咁所以點解對唔同嘅人工智能嗰個應用咧，其實個反應可能唔係一樣嘅，因為大家嗰個要考慮嗰個價值咧係唔同咗嚇。
咁坊間仲有一個問題都問咧，就係其實會唔會係因為即係同頭先Dr. Chan 你都講啦，即係我哋應用場景有限啦，咁會唔會就係只係用5個領域嘅倫理關係，譬如話私隱啊、穩定性啊、無偏差啊，係咪足夠對而家呢個課題有深入嘅了解咧？呢個係即係有參與者作出咁嘅問題。
係點意思？即係話
係咪國外即係海外嘅
？OK，
咁少嘅領域嘅道德嘅？
其實唔止啊，因為而家你睇到好多文件係你要揾一啲價值觀係唔止5個嘅，同埋又有好多唔同嘅詞彙啦，有時意思又相近啦啊。咁因為我哋個研究亦都唔可能話要問得太多嘢，咁所以我哋就抽取得即係俾我哋覺得嗰5個比較即係重要嘅價值，即係同時咧係喺一啲文獻裏邊咧，我哋發現經常會討論到嘅價值觀念，咁我哋就會問翻被訪者嘅意見。
我諗同埋都受過我哋嘅研究方法影響，因為我亦都有時係會用即係電話訪問啦。咁電話訪問裏邊咧，即係都受限住嗰個時間空間所影響，所以能夠問涉及嘅道德領域咧都係有限。咁另外一方面咧就其實咧，我諗即係一般嘅時候，我哋都做過一啲即係個人訪問啦。咁其實你場景裏邊比較深入嘅研究嘅。咁但係咧，其實都係睇到咧，因為如果問得太多嘅道德領域咧，即係會產生更多嘅即係排序嗰邊咧，就會比較有困難。咁所以呢個都係我哋嗰個研究嘅限制啦。
Since the question is in English, maybe I repeat some of the repeat my answer. Because in the literature or in the media, people talk about many values, more than 5. But we have also done some literature review, and particularly George also has done some text analysis, and then find out some of the values are more commonly discussed in newspaper or in the media and so on. So we just focus on those 5 areas.
我想跟進下頭先啊Gilly問個問題咧，即係顯示到我哋嘅即係我哋個受訪者話俾我哋聽就係佢對企業嗰個信任程度係咁高啦。咁我諗即係話如果回應話除咗話即係企業推行啲咩嘢嘅時候，就唔好淨係自己去推廣啦嚇，就要即係多啲使用第三方，即係咁呢個第三方即係去。即係唔係淨係去做咗企業嘅發言人嘅嚇，就係佢有獨立性嘅，可以俾到一啲獨立嘅意見俾個企業。咁但係我諗個除咗係話，即係意思即係呢度有一個有效溝通嘅問題咧，我諗其實反而係更加係凸顯咗嗰個即係嗰個推廣嘅內容啊，嗰個重要性。即係市民咧就係覺得咧企業未必係能夠充分地了解到。佢哋對一啲價值嘅重視 ，OK， 咁先至佢會覺得即係唔係好相信，尤其自己去推銷啊，因為即係講真，佢可能未必係完全係真實地去講翻嗰個情況嘅。咁所以除咗係話揾第三方啊，即係去做呢個溝通之外咧，我覺得最重要就係即係其實都係嗰個產品嘅內容啊，即係意思嗰個 AI 嗰個做嘅出嚟嘅內容咧，能夠充分地去即係照顧到即係市民者嚇，即係國家啦、市民啊，即係各方面嘅。頭先我哋喺我哋調查入邊即係揾出嚟嘅啲嘅價值觀咯。咁我諗呢度即係反而係更加重要啦。咁但係你話即係點樣可以令到企業佢更加係敏感嚇，即係對啲問題比較敏感，因為其實好多時又 straightforward 㗎嘛，係話可能同時有情況唔同嘅，咁就即係呢個係即係專業人士啊，或者係知識界啊，即係或者科學研究呢個有個 input 咯，即係變咗科學研究 input 就 more 嘅一個 effective communicator 咁簡單 ，OK 就咁簡單嘅，所以純粹係即係我想係佢嗰個 co-production 嗰個問題係重要。
George 有少少補充㗎。George。
係，我可以做少少補充嘅。其實咧，我哋呢度嗰個 sharing 咧，主要係講翻我哋嗰個 survey 電話訪問嘅嗰啲結果啦。其實我呢度可以提多少少關於 interview 嘅結果嘅。啱先 Linda 講到啦，其實第三方嗰個角色嘅介入啦，其實多少係扮演住一種分工嘅角色啦。好多時候企業啦，尤其是搞創科嘅企業啦，佢哋係關注緊究竟我哋嘅 product 點樣可以提供一啲更加好嘅產品俾人啦。佢有好具體嘅場景嘅。但係咧，去到價值問題嘅時候咧，佢哋未必可以兼顧到好多嘢。佢哋可以好積極咁樣改善一個產品嘅效率，但係咧，對於私隱嘅問題咧，其實佢哋咧未必可以分身咁樣去兼顧到。所以其實呢個係一個分工嘅問題啦。有第三方嘅嗰個分工，大家一齊同心協力去解決啲問題咧，係會比較好嘅。
同埋咧，我哋都因為都睇到咧，即係價值裏邊其實都涉及3方面啦。價值有時係講緊一個商業嘅利益啦。另外一個咧就係個人嘅關注，同埋一個社會嘅一啲嘅利益，一個 common interest。咁所以咧，每一個 application 裏邊咧，其實如果係企業以着重嗰個經濟效益為主咧，可能佢就涉及忽視咗個人嗰個關注同埋個社會利益嘅層面。咁呢方面無可否認，即係亦都係佢哋響特別係呢啲咁嘅人工智能嘅應用，不多時咧都會涉及呢3方面，或多或少。正係我哋研究裏邊點解要用場景去表達呢樣嘢嘅重要嘅目的。因為我哋嘅目的睇到每一個應用咧，其實佢涉及呢3方面嘅比重都不同嘅。咁所以可能咧所以會可能出現到某啲情況之下，好似人工智能有啲時候被接受，有啲時候不被接受。 咁呢個咧就係其實我哋研究，起碼喺呢度都睇到場景同埋應用某一個情況咧，係好有影響到嗰個市民啊或者個道德嘅取向。
阿 Dr. Chan 同埋 Joshua，我就想請教下嗱 AI 其實咧就有好多 application 嘅。咁我見你哋就揀咗fault detection 啊、機械犬啊，同埋無人駕自動車咁樣啦。咁其實我唔知個 rationale behind 點解會揀個機械犬同埋自動車。咁即係譬如我哋而家平時我哋用機械犬，我哋可能會係當一個 robotic 嘅 application， 不過裏邊係有 AI， 而嗰個自動車可能我哋主要係當佢係一個IoT 嘅 application 或者 data analytics， 但係因為有 AI， 咁你哋個 finding， 譬如話2/3嘅受訪者就覺得唔應該去採用呢個自動車，咁佢哋係基於安全嘅 consideration 啦，定係真係基於我哋今次個 topic 係關於個 AI 嗰個ethics 啊，個 governance 啊？咁呢度因為係電話調查啦，咁我少少擔心，其實個被訪者會唔會其實佢哋唔係好知道成個 survey 個 focus 喺邊度？譬如話你擔唔擔心你個自動車個應用會令到你嘅行程啊，你嘅一啲個人資料會去俾咗第三方，定係就咁問你覺得應唔應該用自動車？咁如果一個好 layman 嘅諗法，就會覺得因為自動車有安全嘅問題，尤其是較早之前幾個月至1年前咧，譬如話 Google 好似撳停咗個自動車，個原因唔係因為ethics 嘅原因，而個原因係因為一啲安全嘅理由。咁呢個 news 我相信大家有睇到嘅。咁亦都如果你咁樣去訪問啲受訪者而冇清楚去講條問題，因為我睇唔到你哋條問題點問啦。咁呢度可能會 mislead 咗嗰個受訪者嘅。而至於機械犬咧，其實喺今天我哋喺 PodTech 嚟講咧，其實係一個幾好用嘅 tools 嚟嘅，即係譬如一啲好譬如話，如果香港嘅環境如果起樓去一啲嘅所謂嘅岩洞啊，一啲如果工人落去會係有危險嘅地方，我哋可以用機械犬去做一啲嘅睇下嗰個環境係點樣。但係因為如果你條問題係話你哋嗰啲機械犬監控個應用應唔應該用咧？聽見話監控，咁大家就好擔心啦。哇，咁係咪即係出街好似有一啲嘅robotic 嘅robots係喺街度周圍走嚟走去睇住我哋做啲乜咧？嗱，咁呢個好 depends on 你個問題嘅 setting。但係譬如你話如果譬如喺地盤一啲人去 human 因為危險未必可以去到嘅地方，我哋用 robot 去代替嘅。你哋覺得應唔應該採用咧？嗱，呢個就你呢個問題點樣問法就好影響到嗰個受眾去點樣去答呢個問題嘅。咁呢個我亦都明白，因為我以前細個我都係讀 stat 嘅，以前我 undergrad 我都明白有時可能做電話調查係有少少困難嘅。咁但係呢個大原則，我哋都要令到個受眾去了解，我哋先至去問個問題咯。咁所以我覺得呢個 survey 係好好嘅，但係喺揀呢啲咁嘅 application 嘅時候，真係要小心啲，或者你 set 個問題嗰度，可能要令個受眾了解咯。另外最後我就係想講其實你大學係好緊要嘅，即係嗱點解大家譬如而家有一啲譬如話安心出行又好 ，facial recognition 又好，或者你呢度舉啲example無人車或者機械犬又好，其實大家擔心係因為裏邊啲嘢唔 transparent。咁大學其實就係可以睇下點樣用去 educate 翻市民。其實未必一定要係入到嚟大學裏邊去讀個 degree， 我先要識嘅。有一啲係可以係普及化嘅，譬如話你同一啲嘅公營機構，譬如而家消委會啦，譬如同我哋啲 professional body 啦，去搞一啲嘅講座。 其實都可以令到增加透明度，令到市民知道，哦，無人駕駛車其實係好嘢嘅。咁佢譬如facial recognition 係唔會話將你成塊面咁樣去save 低落去嘅。呢啲嗱老實講，大部分市民都唔會知道嘅。咁但係如果我哋經過正如頭先你所講啦，因為大學俾人個感覺係比較 independent。咁由你哋有個公信力又高啲，同一啲 professional body 好似 CMA 啊，或者好似公營機構好似消委會咁樣，佢大家去一啲令到個透明度增加，我相信係可以幫到嘅。我暫時講咁多先，唔該。
或者我從你最後嗰個問題開始睇先啦，即係點樣讓大眾去理解啦。同埋亦都你都話有陣時唔需要好高深嘅知識，咁都可以解得通俾啲市民聽嘅。咁但係亦都個信任亦都好大嘅一個問題。譬如最近健康碼咁樣咧，即係香港用嗰個安心出行咧，就佢原來裏邊有一個 module， 即係個 program 裏邊有一個 module 咧，係可以辨別即係有 facial recognition 嘅功能嘅。咁變咗有啲人覺得，喂，你係咪偷睇我個樣㗎？我出入餐廳，咁佢揾一個人嚟解釋啦。咁佢就話，你買一個程式翻嚟，你就成個程式買翻嚟嘅。咁你抽起佢其中個 module 咧，係會令到個 program 會好容易有 error 嘅。咁呢啲學過電腦做過電腦嘅識嘅啫。但係如果唔係咧，普通人咧就話，點解？如果你掹佢出嚟掉佢唔得咯？咁點解要留喺嗰度咧？咁樣咁就係即係就變咗引起人哋嘅一種嘅懷疑咁但係亦都只係政府出嚟解釋咁如果佢話可能揾到一個比較有公信力嘅人或者點樣去解釋翻，其實好多時即係電腦程式嘅時候，你唔係立亂就抽佢一部分你 disable 佢 OK， 但係你抽一部分可能引來更加大嘅問題。咁呢個如果你解釋得清楚，同埋揾一啲比較有公信力嘅人解釋嘅時候，個疑慮咪可以消除咗咯。咁第二樣嘢，你問到嗰個我哋嗰個訪問嗰個啲內容咧，第一咧，我其實好多即係民意調查咧，係受好多嘢限制。我哋亦都曾經想過兩個方法嘅。第一個方法咧，我哋就係網上嘅；第二個方法咧就係電話嘅。咁第三個就甚至第三個啦，街頭啦。咁街頭就更加難做啦，有疫情關係嘅時候。咁但係咧就你網上咧就有個好處，你可以比較詳細啲嘅故事亦都可以等佢就充分啲了解到，然之後要作回應。咁但係咧就網上亦都有個問題咧，就係上網嗰啲人先答你嘅啫。識上網會上網咁，但係咧我哋又想多啲睇翻即係公眾整體嗰個睇法嘅時候，我哋咪改咗用電話咯。第二咧就係我哋呢個係一個小型嘅研究計劃嚟㗎。咁我哋做完之後咧，大學期望我哋咧就再做一個更加大同埋更加深入嘅研究嘅。咁其實唔止有即係我哋而家用咗4個 scenario 啦。咁你可以再諗到好多其他 AI 嘅主要嘅應用，然之後再去問嘅。咁但係我哋根本就亦都冇資源，同埋就係你要受訪者睇咁多個 scenario 咧，就好複雜。咁另外一個做法咧，就係我哋擴大嗰個調查，就每一個群組可能針對住一個情景咁而呢個情景咧，佢而家其實一個整體咧，就係一個差唔多係叫做一個實驗嘅方法。譬如自動車嗰個情況咧，你可以設計唔同嘅環境，然之後再去睇翻唔同環境嘅時候，即係嗰啲受訪者會點樣反應，咁就可能避免咗你話你咪嗰個問法可能係誤導咗佢啦咁樣咁同埋 particular 點解我哋揀機械犬咧？或者等阿佐創補充翻啦，就好似喺新加坡同埋都紐約都用過咁但係佢兩地嘅反應係唔同嘅。咁佢係喺個商場裏邊即係 detect 啲人咧，就係佢違反咗個 social distancing 咧，佢會俾個 warning 佢咁就同你話佢入去隧道做工程嗰啲唔同嘅。咁即係因為我哋冇時間將4個 scenario 詳細講咗俾大家聽啦咁所以就可能引發咗呢個問題。咁我哋係講緊嗰一種嘅應用。咁個機械犬可能即係會收集到嗰個人係邊個，即係佢違反 social distancing 嘅時候。 嘅規範嘅時候，咁應唔應該做咧？咁就會係佢呢個展示咗一個喺呢個情景裏邊咧，佢凸顯咗一種矛盾啊，呢個社會效益同埋個人嗰個自由嗰個矛盾啊嘛。咁然之後就睇下啲受訪者點樣即係做一個取捨咯。同埋呢啲問題咧，我哋今次我哋研究都發現咗咧，就係唔可以抽空問你點樣取捨嘅，而佢喺唔同嘅情景啊、唔同嘅科技咧，佢嘅取捨都可能係唔同。我哋就唔可以一竹篙即係打船人咁樣去處理而家所謂 AI 嗰個管治嘅問題咯。好多謝你嘅問題啊，好有意思啊！
唔該你多 Chang。但係嗱，如果我聽你咁講咧，咁就因為香港我 understand 應該就未有用 robot 嚟到去做監控嘅，咁對於受訪者嚟講更加難想像。如果係咁，係不過唔緊要，係啦，我諗大家咁樣。咁就又梗係用 robot 嚟抄牌啦。大家咁樣，我陣間都會有講。
Sorry，而家好似有用 robot 嚟抄牌啦，香港。
我陣間
或者係 detect 啲人，
我 present 嘅時候都會講嘅嚇，我陣間都會講呢個題目嚇，咁陣間可以再交流下。好，係好，唔該。
唔該曬你啊！
有位叫 Sabrina 嘅舉咗手。
哇 ，Sabrina，
請問咧
，unmute。Yeah，please unmute。
有冇 unmute 啊
Sabrina？Yeah，Sabrina。
你好，我係新加坡南洋理工大學嘅助理教授 Sabrina。有個問題想理解下，因為喺新加坡，我哋智能城市呢個範疇底下，政府係推出咗人工智能嗰個無人駕駛咁同埋我哋有 Spot Dog 啦 ，Spot Dog 就係疫症嘅時候先推出嚟，但係最主要 Spot Dog 佢係政府 repurpose 佢係作為一個好似叫做 social distancing ambassador 嘅 robot 啦，即係喺公園嗰度就會播放一啲即係叫人哋注意安全距離嘅狗咁，同埋政府係將佢改裝咗，即係佢只不過，但係佢冇話涉及到私隱嘅問題，因為佢係最主要純粹係想睇下個 crowd level，即係所以佢係有一個 camera 佢改裝咗，但係純粹係計個 crowd level 咁。所以我想理解就係，譬如話你喺今次呢個研究入邊，因為據我所知 Spot Dog 係喺香港係冇用過嘅，係咪？應該係未推行過。而呢個無人駕駛嘅情況係香港政府有冇係推出嚟，定係靠第三方去推呢個無人駕駛？
而家無人駕駛香港好似只係有一個 pilot 喺機場嗰個範圍裏邊試驗緊嘅啫，仲未有一個政策話要即係較大型咁試驗同埋推出嘅。另外咧就你正話講嗰個機械犬嗰個情況咧，我哋其實都冇直接講翻即係新加坡啊或者紐約嗰個具體情況，我哋只係俾一個好簡單嘅故事就話有一樣咁嘅嘢會提醒啲商場嗰啲顧客話嗱，你而家咁樣違反咗一啲 social distancing 嘅 measure 啦，咁樣。
因為
咁同埋咁佢會有個 detection 嘅功能噶嘛，咁就即係啲人就會懷疑話你會 detect 埋其他嘢咧咁樣。即係譬如以前亦都試過咧，香港喺某啲地方裝智能燈柱噶嘛。咁其實就係啲人一見到咧就好敏感噶啦，即係話你影我咁樣。咁你會唔會影咗我啲咩入去啊？咁樣，咁呢啲 issue 喺香港咧一直都係好難點樣處理嘅。有時咧要想解釋啊解釋唔通，就算有陣時我明白背後其實冇乜危險性，同埋你唔係會 compromise 咗你好多個私隱都好咧，咁啲人仍然都會好敏感嘅。咁個問題就係點樣能夠即係溝通得到，同埋明白到佢譬如話某個軟件啊，某個 application 嘅時候，對嗰個人嘅自由度同個私隱度嘅影響去到邊度？即係點樣 話到俾人聽，解釋得好清楚，其實就係一件好困難嘅問題嚟嘅。
OK， 理解。所以我想即係講翻，如果喺方法學即係做呢個研究嘅時候，會唔會話攞一啲譬如你講智能燈柱，或者係即係其他已經喺香港已應用中或者試行中嘅 digital device 去訪問一啲受訪者嗰個 reality 反應會比較真實啲，因為可能如果譬如話監控狗或者無人駕駛汽車，可能喺香港即係佢哋冇呢個認知嘅時候，可能佢答就係一個比較 hypothetical 嘅東西啦。但係譬如話喺新加坡無人駕駛，即係autonomous vehicle 裏邊，新加坡係一個比較有系統地一個進行一個stage 嘅一個推行，所以佢喺法律上佢已經係改咗個法律啦，亦都係有一個好大嘅 testing ground， 即係去改嗰個路啦，去俾無人車去試。所以基本上喺新加坡市民大眾，甚至喺我哋大學都係一個autonomous vehicle 嘅一個道路去走，因為我哋係要搞無人化嘅校巴，即係佢嘅校園，所以佢已經係 testing。所以我哋譬如話，如果喺新加坡嘅 context 裏邊做一啲市民已經有認知嘅 device 或者一啲東西嘅時候，咁係關於呢啲 AI 嘅，咁可能嗰個理解能力嗰個會高啲，所以佢明白嗰個內容訪問內容。但係喺香港嗰個context 裏邊，可能我覺得因為你有健康碼啦，有即係無人駕駛汽車，所以但係可能有啲就係有啲人係已經用緊㗎嘛，有啲就係未用未知，所以變咗出嚟嗰個 research finding 可能唔係真係好反映到嗰個現實。但係我話，譬如話，如果你健康碼加呢個即係智能燈柱，或者純粹喺 COVID in the time of COVID-19 裏邊去 test 一啲即係市民對一啲 digital technology 喺呢個 COVID 應用嘅呢個階段嘅東西嘅時候，咁可能佢哋會好容易去 associate 究竟呢樣嘢同嗰個 principle 嗰個關係係點樣咯？所以我就係一個純粹個人意見，純粹個人意見，因為係好有趣呢個即係關於 AI governance 嘅東西。
係好多謝你意見，因為呢個其實你提出嚟嘅就係我哋而家研究嗰個問題，因為我哋係一個小規模嘅研究啊嘛。咁你話即係用一啲真實嘅個案咧，係好嘅，即係你唔會話咁抽空啦，即係直接能夠睇到即係市民啊，即係對而家現行嘅一啲做法嗰個意見啦嚇。咁但係如果要做情景嘅研究嘅時候咧，即係最好嘅辦法咧係要調節啲因素啊、環境咁樣樣嘅。嗱，譬如話佢可能對而家你現行嘅智能燈柱佢有反感啫，咁我亦都可能睇到某啲 factor 令佢反感啦。但係最好嘅辦法就係佢如果係因為呢啲特殊性而令佢反感嘅話咧，即係話嗰個科技本身唔係一定有問題㗎嘛。咁所以咧做呢啲情景研究咧，最好咧就係不斷調整佢裏邊一啲唔同嘅 factors 或者 variable 從而揾得出就係其實呢個科技究竟令人擔心唔令人唔擔心，點樣可以改善，即係咁就會比較好一啲咯。因為你如果就淨係針對一個現行嘅，佢有一個反應嘅時候，可能係受當時現行嗰個特殊嘅設計影響嘅啫嘛，唔係嗰個技術本身係有啲咩具體問題。如果你關注到，即係所以要將嗰個背景不斷去調節咧，先睇到即係嗰啲人嘅背後佢哋嘅 concern 係咩嘢，咁從而再諗下再點樣去優化翻個設計或者甚至棄用嗰個設計啦，可能有啲問題真係解決唔到。
OK， 好，多謝你，唔該晒。
我哋而家已經過咗 break 嘅時間啦，咁或者我哋要
即刻開始個 panel discussion
好嘛
？OK，
好，我哋而家開始嗰個 panel discussion 好嘛？咁或者我將個時間 pass 俾阿 Victor。
係啊，咁咧就好多謝大家頭先嘅好熱烈嘅討論啦。咁我哋就好高興咧，就請到首先請到消委會嘅總幹事Gilly Wong 同我哋即係分享翻佢即係喺呢方面佢哋近排我哋都知道消委會出咗個報告啦。咁我哋都想即係佢喺呢度咧同我哋分享一啲 佢同我哋睇到嘅報告裏邊一啲佢哋覺得有趣同埋佢都想同我哋一齊分享嘅一啲嘅事。咁將時間交俾阿 Gilly。
OK，阿 Victor，你想我講英文定係講廣東話？
因為原先我哋都頭先介紹咗咧，就可以即係用英文嘅。咁你因為個 PowerPoint 用英文，你用英文好唔好
？OK， 好，用翻英文。OK。All right, thank you very much for the CTU, the Research Center for Sustainable Hong Kong, for the invitation to speak and introduce about our study report, which was released on September the 8th. And I think it is a really good forum for us to share the findings as well when you're talking about AI ethics and governance. Oh, sorry, let me share the screen first. Right.
Okay, you see the screen.
I'm trying to make it the next page, but it seems like it's not working for getting into the next page. Okay.
Oh,
all right,
oh yeah, it's okay. It's
working now.
Okay, all right. So in recent years, the widespread adoption of artificial intelligence around the world has brought benefits to society on different aspects, making it well recognized as an irreversible trend to enable development and transformation. And for our study, we focus on the e-commerce. Reasons being is very obvious. It is very convenient to consumers. So and also the very common interface for consumers. So we focus on e-commerce, and we all know that it is one of the key markets that adopt AI widely. And for Hong Kong, we strongly believe the fact that it needs to be forward-looking, anticipate the benefits and risk of AI, and formulate its AI strategies to achieve the vision to become a digitized smart city. So in the digital era, the imbalance between consumers and traders in terms of information possession and bargaining power has become more significant and must be addressed. In the e-commerce market, traders may use consumers' personal data with AI algorithms at the back-end operations to generate results that benefit themselves in terms of product pricing, choices, and search results. As a result of that, consumers' rights to know and right to choose must be affected, and market competition might also be distorted as well. There have been controversial cases in the world regarding the misuse of AI. Big names like Tinder, Google, Airbnb, and Didi were involved in different problems, such as personalized pricing, biased ranking, social scoring, and facial recognition, which may affect human dignity and also their rights. So in conclusion, it is quite widely known that AI could be a double-edged sword, depending on how it is utilized. To ensure trustworthy AI, international organizations, including the OECD and the United Nations, have established more than 160 sets of AI principles. Some common AI principles include accountability, human oversight, transparency, and interpretability. Data privacy, fairness, beneficial AI, reliability, robustness, and also security. Considering the irreversible AI trend and its growing implications on consumers, we have published its first ever study on the use of AI in e-commerce in Hong Kong, titled Fostering Consumer Trust, Ethical AI in Hong Kong. The study aims to probe into consumer perception and usage of AI in e-commerce, understand e-commerce traders' adoption of AI, explore ways to empower consumers and mitigate AI risks associated with them, and finally, identify ways to encourage good trade practices regarding AI and promote the development of responsible and ethical AI. The scope of the study focuses on business-to-consumer e-commerce, covering a quantitative online consumer survey with over 1,200 respondents, in-depth interview with 19 e-commerce traders, technological providers, and industry experts in Hong Kong, reviewed 112 popular online stores' privacy policies, and tried out 10 online stores on the AI applications, including product recommendation and chatbots. We also engage stakeholders to collect their opinions and complete desktop research on potential consumer issues about the use of AI and relevant policy guidelines and initiatives in the globe. So let's get into the consumer survey. From this study, we found that consumers are keen on online shopping, but unfamiliar with AI. 77% of the respondents visit or make purchases at online store on either a daily or weekly basis, showing that they're very keen on online shopping. I think probably it is highly affected by the COVID as well. Most consumers have heard of AI, but 75% has had no or little knowledge on AI. So this is more worrying. More consumers still hold a conservative attitude towards AI. Only 31% of the respondents trust AI, and only 21% preferred AI to direct human contact. Also, their level of satisfaction with AI is rather low. Only about 40% of the respondents agreed AI addressed their needs accurately. Although over 70% believed AI will become more popular in Hong Kong, only 34% agree that the adoption of AI is well regulated currently. Consumers in general are worried about the risks of AI, such as collection of excessive information, loopholes in the system, and lack of accountability. They want to have the right to choose and the right to know. Cybersecurity and privacy protection are the top concerns of consumers, with close to 50% of the respondents choosing both items. Foreseeing the growing popularity of AI, consumers demand more education on the topic and consider the adoption of a range of measures can increase their confidence in AI. For example, online stores to increase the security and privacy protection level, online stores to establish a campaign mechanism for dispute resolution, and the government to strengthen the monitoring of e-commerce market. Many consumers have not yet developed habits to protect their own personal data while shopping online. And this is another concern from the Consumer Council perspective. For example, 60% never read or did not know privacy policies, mainly due to the content being too lengthy and too hard to understand. Furthermore, in dealing with pop-up messages that obtain consent for cookies, information collection, 27% would simply ignore them and continue their browsing. So all in all, we have identified 4 consumer segments can be concluded according to their perception on AI. Supportive users, they are more familiar with AI and have positive perception. Prudent users, positive perception but still have worries. Unready users, not familiar with AI and have strong worries. Unfavorable users, negative perception and dissatisfied with the performance of AI. So in general, consumers with a positive attitude and a negative attitude split between 40 to 60%, meaning consumer confidence is yet to build and targeted educational efforts are needed. Okay, let's move on to the consumer usage and satisfaction with 4 types of AI tools, which were very commonly found in e-commerce, namely product recommendation, chatbot, advanced biometrics, and also augmented reality, AR. In terms of usage, product recommendation had the highest usage rate, 89%, followed by chatbots, 75%. Yet, when it came to consumer satisfaction, advanced biometrics and AR were better received, with more than 70% of the respondents deeming it improved their online shopping experience, whereas chatbots had the lowest satisfaction, with only 38% respondents agreeing it brought improvement. In general, about 40% of the respondents were cautious about providing personal information to traders to use AI tools. Their mindfulness was particularly high when it comes to chatbot, 48%, which might be related to consumers' dissatisfaction with this negative experience and also its repetitiveness and robotic answers, and also the inaccurate answers that they provide. When we look into the privacy policies of 112 local and non-local online stores, it is observed that privacy policies of online stores show much room for improvement. Left graph show the purpose of data collection. 85% of the reviewed online stores mentioned in their privacy policies survey, market research, and data analysis as the purpose of data collection. However, only 6 reviewed traders indicate the purpose of data collection include AI model training or machine learning. We cannot ascertain whether the reason for the low percentage of mentioning is because indeed only a few traders would use the data to train AI, or because they consider the training of AI as part of data analysis and thus did not bother to mention. However, we believe and also have the opinion that as AI grows, traders should consider mentioning the purpose, the specific purposes related to AI. On the right-hand side is the type of data collected. It is noticed that 6 to 10% reviewed traders would also collect data that is not directly related to the transactions, such as the consumer education, income, marital status, and employment status, etc., which might be considered excessive according to our current regulation. Except for information about data transfer to third parties, many reviewed traders were not specific about data handling, retention period, and also security measures. While 85% of the reviewed traders were specific about data collection, only about 40% provide clear guidance on how to decline data collection and use of cookies. So based on the 19 in-depth interviews with industry practitioners, the general opinion was that AI adoption in e-commerce in Hong Kong is at the very early stage of development. They grade the current AI development in Hong Kong is 4.9% out of 10 on average, 10 refers to extremely advanced development. Traders also encounter various challenges, including insufficient funding, talent scarcity, and lack of high quality data, making it difficult for AI to flourish on a broader sense. So in Cantonese, we simply said, more and more data. Most companies have not yet established a company AI policy, and some perceive data policies as AI policies, which is not exactly identical. Also, the responsibility between traders and technology providers is generally blurred. Traders do not have the expertise in AI, and technology providers do not know the operation of traders and cannot ensure the data quality. So it is like a vicious cycle between them. We have communicated with various stakeholders, including trade associations, and they reflect that the government should dedicate more resources to the application of AI technologies for the industry. The second point they raise is about e-commerce industry can make collective efforts to encourage traders to open up their own data and share with one another. The third point is the government should develop Hong Kong's own digital strategy while integrating with the city's unique strength in smart logistics and supply chain management. Finally, the government should establish a unique, integrated, and holistic digital strategy, and cross-bureau cooperation is extremely vital. Facing the evolution of AI and rapid transformation of the digital economy, over 60 jurisdictions have developed or are in the process of developing a national AI strategy. The Council reviewed the AI development blueprints and governance frameworks of 10 selected jurisdictions, namely the mainland, Canada, France, Germany, Japan, Singapore, South Korea, the EU, the UK, and also the United States. So these are the very popular and developed countries in the world. Different jurisdictions in the world are planning their AI development plans across fields, including ways of governance, data policies, support for industries, consumer protection, and education. So it is very important for Hong Kong to catch up on the international development. Zooming into the 6 jurisdictions, as of today, none of them has established comprehensive or cross-sector law governing AI. but yet some have already proposed a comprehensive AI law, and some have adopted AI-related laws for specific purposes. For example, our mainland released the administrative provisions on algorithm recommendation of Internet Information Services to regulate the use of algorithm this year, while the EU, Canada, and the UK are drafting its comprehensive AI law. All 10 jurisdictions have developed their own national AI strategies, which focus on visions like economic development, infrastructure establishment, nurturing talents, etc. In some jurisdictions, their data privacy laws are abreast of technology improvement and already cover profiling, automatic decision-making of data users. For example, the mainland's Personal Information Protection Act, PIPL, and the EU's General Data Protection Regulation, that is very widely known to the GDPR, require that consumers should have the right to know and also the right to reject automatic decisions. In terms of consumer protection, the mainland France, Japan, and the US have already added articles related to consumer protection in related laws or guidelines. Commonly, the principles behind include the right to choose. This is the core of Hong Kong consumers as well. Fairness, assessment and validation, and accountability. Finally, many jurisdictions provide support to traders to facilitate the use of AI. For example, South Korea established an AI hub to provide companies and researchers with AI training data. Germany and Singapore set up programs to help enterprises to adopt AI. Some jurisdictions, Germany and Singapore, launched free AI educational campaigns to promote AI literacy among the public, and different jurisdictions have also launched initiative funding and work opportunities to nurture and attract talents for the development of AI. So to address the point about no data, no people, and no funding. So all in all, consumers are encountering many difficulties with using AI, such as excessive data collection by traders, lack of information disclosure by traders, lack of opt-out options, and unsatisfactory performance of some AI tools. So to solve the above issues and thus to safeguard consumer interests, it is vital to develop responsible and ethical AI in e-commerce. The Council proposed 6 recommendations to traders, consumers, and the government. For traders, we encourage them to adopt the checklist of best practices to formulate company AI policy and governance, and encourage trade associations to establish a consumer charter to protect consumers. For consumers, we recommend them to follow the tips to be a smart consumer when shopping online, so they can't be lazy. They really have to educate themselves and behave properly. We also recommend the government to nurture AI understanding of the public and traders, establish a holistic policy for AI development, and build a fair and competitive e-commerce market. Some areas to be considered, including establish clear vision and key milestones for AI development, lead by example to accelerate the digital transformation, increase funding to support AI projects to commercialize, enrich open data, and encourage utilization of data, and finally, attract and nurture AI talents. Just to conclude, among the rapid digital transformation, AI has become a driving force for societal and also economic development. The Council hopes that while the government is actively promoting digital transformation and AI development, it can make reference to the experience and approaches of other jurisdictions and establish an AI development plan and regulating policies to encourage the development of responsible and ethical AI in our society, and also to ensure that consumer interests are well protected. The Council will continue to actively participate in the work. We strongly believe that with a three-pronged approach, including establishing policy framework progressively, enhancing the performance of digital governance among traders, and strengthening consumers' ability to protect themselves, we can really form to become a very strong driving force for the future development of Hong Kong. So that's conclude my presentation, and I pass the floor back to our moderator. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gilly. The next speaker, our panel speaker is Mr. Darron Sun. He is the chairman of the Cyber Security Committee of the Charter Management Association, the Institution of Charter Management Association, Hong Kong branches. He is also the vice chairman of the Committee of the Digital Transformation. Okay, this is time for you, Darron. Use your time. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Victor. Thanks, Gilly. Actually, I'm happy to see Consumer Council did a very professional research on this topic. It's very professional. The professional presentation I see this afternoon. So, hello everyone. I'm Darron Sun. I'm happy to share with you something about the AI governance and ethics, because I didn't have a chance to read the CTU research, the result of the survey before. So I want to share something more general about AI governance and ethics this afternoon. So this is my bio. So I'm as a CIO of a in public sector. Before that, I was the head of IT audit of an insurance company. So I think I may be the right person to talk something about AI and also governance, because my job is actually work on many technology initiatives, including AI, and also I was responsible for IT governance before. Because I'm not sure whether today I conducted the talk.
Perhaps you have to share your screen. We can't see your PowerPoint yet.
Oh, sorry about that.
Thank you.
Okay, can you see now?
Yes, it's clear. Thank you.
Okay, because no one told me the presentation today is in English or Chinese. So I prepared some material in Chinese. I'm sorry about that.
Okay, it's free. If you want to speak in Cantonese,
So,
如果你講到話你 OK 嘅。
sorry Professor， 其實我有少少 confused 嘅，因為我問咗好多次㗎啦，冇人同我講係Chinese 定係 English， 所以我唯有大包圍嚇，sorry。So I did some research about some news recently. So sorry that I find the news all in Chinese. Maybe I can present in English. So I find that in Hong Kong, the Hong Kong police is working on the AI project to use AI to detect some illegal parking. So in mainland China, in Shanghai, so there is a AI regulation that allow some minor non-compliance activities that will not become illegal. Because I think it's a very good news for the AI development, because no one can guarantee that the technology will not make mistake. So another news is about an ex-Google engineer say that the boundary between AI and human being is hard to differentiate and maybe out of control, and that's why it's become, before we further develop AI, we have to do some governance framework before we proceed further. Another news is about now AI can write some news to replace the reporter, and some AI experts said we have to strengthen the governance. So I think because of Queen Elizabeth II, I think many people pay attention to the royal family. So recently, a photographer used AI to prepare this portrait of Princess Diana. Elon Musk said that AI may kill human being in some day. It may be exaggerated, but I think we may be at risk if we can control AI. So it's a very famous painting recently because this painting is actually done by AI after input some words. So what is AI? I don't repeat the definition because I think George already gave us some definition, but I think George is so young. So he quote an example about the AlphaGo, but actually 25 years before, there was the first AI called Deep Blue, already have doing the similar stuff for as AlphaGo. So there are some application of AI, including the Google search engine that we use every day, and for Netflix and YouTube, they also provide some content recommendations to the audience. So the self-driving vehicle that which is already covered in your research paper, and some and other application, including facial recognition, spam filters. I think these are already adopted in office nowadays. But again, for facial recognition, actually, I spend a lot of time to explain to my user that what is the mechanism behind, so that to make them more comfortable to use the facial recognition system in our office. So here are some key components of AI. Machine learning. Machine learning means computers learning from data using algorithm to perform a task without being explicitly programmed. Deep learning use a complex structure of algorithm model on the human brain. This enables the processing of unstructured data such as documents, image, and text. Cognitive computing is an attempt to have computers mimic the way a human brain works. Computer vision is very interesting. It's a field of AI that enables computers and systems to derive meaningful information from digital image, video, and other visual input, and take action or make recommendations based on that information. Natural language processing, NLP, is also a branch of AI that enables computers to comprehend, generate, and manipulate human language. It is very important, and there are a lot of applications nowadays using NLP. Neural network is nothing new. Actually, I studied this when I was an undergrad student. It's also known as AI networks and simulated neural networks, SNNs, are a subset of machine learning and are at the heart of deep learning algorithm. So actually, the AI, we adopt a lot of statistical theory and also mathematics behind for complex calculation. So this is a technology landscape of AI. So I won't go through one by one, but we can see we already adopt a lot of area here. So for example, the cognitive cybersecurity, robotic personal assistance, next-gen cloud robotics, virtual companions, chatbots, pattern recognitions. So some of these technology we already adopted nowadays. So ethical challenges of AI. The ethics of AI is actually the part of ethics of technology specific to robots and other AI beings. It is typically divided into robot ethics, a concern with the moral behavior of humans as they design, construct, use, and trip AI beings, and machine ethics, which is concerned with the moral behavior of artificial moral agent. So there are 5 ethical challenges. Removing human responsibility, reducing human control, enabling human wrongdoing, devaluing human skills, and eroding human self-determination. So I think we talk a lot about the ethical consideration in AI. So I want to talk about the legal concern or the legal consideration in AI. For example, if the AI did something wrong, who is responsible? Is this the AI itself, the manufacturer, the programmer, or the company? So I think we have to review our legal regulation and see, because I think all of us understand that actually the law and regulation usually quite behind the development of the technology. So I think it's time to review our law and regulation and see whether we have some clear cut about the legal responsibility. There are 9 ethical issues in AI. Unemployment. What happened after the end of jobs? Inequality. How do we distribute the wealth created by machines? Should it belong to the AI itself, or the company, or anyone? Humanity. How the machine affect our behavior and interaction? Evil genius. How do we protect against unintended consequences? Artificial stupidity. How can we guide against mistakes? Racist robots. How do we eliminate AI bias? Security. How do we keep AI safe from adversaries? Singularity. How do we stay in control of a complex intelligent system? Robot rights. How do we define the human treatment of AI? I think all these issues we can foresee right now. We have to do something before it happened. I think from our risk management perspective, we have to do some preventive measures rather than to do something after the fact. So in the old days, the commercial world is quite simple. So the company need a corporate governance because many company or enterprises adopt a lot of IT. So we need IT governance. But nowadays, the IT environment also become more complex. So we need data governance and AI governance. So there are 12 steps to put AI ethics into practice. So I won't go through one by one, but I want to highlight several points. First, we need to justify the choice of introducing an AI power service. AI can do a lot of things, but we may not need AI to do everything. we need to consider relevant regulations and build on existing best practices. So as I mentioned before, we need to review our law and regulations. So the commercial sector or university, we need to raise our opinions to regulators or government. We need to apply risk-benefit assessment frameworks across the life cycle. So I think AI or any other IT component is similar, that we need to do the risk and benefit assessment before we adopt it. Clearly lay out a risk prioritization scheme. So it's a part of the risk management or the governance that we need to identify the risks and see how to mitigate the risk before we adopt it. Define operational roles and also specify lines of accountability are very important for any project or any operation. So we need to define clear about the responsibility and accountability before we adopt AI. Last but not the least is create educational resources, which is very important. So in coming future, I can see we will adopt more and more AI in our daily life, including healthcare, autonomous vehicles, security and defense, education, manufacturing, entertainment, banking and finance, workspace. To be honest, I'm working with some education institute with Cyberport on some initiative using AI. So we can see there are a lot of AI application in the coming future. But before we do anything, we need to have a governance framework on AI, and also we need some law and regulation to protect ourselves. That's all for my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sun. Yeah. In the next speaker, we will, next panel speaker, we have Dr. Lin. Dr. Lin is our Associate Professor in Department of Media and Communication in City University. Dr. Lin, this is your time. I pass it to you.
Okay, thank you, Victor. Allow me to share my screen first. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm really happy to be here. I will try to be quick. So I think the previous speakers has laid a very good foundation for me. So today I'm happy to share a study which conducted by my students and me together about comparative analysis on AI governance in China and Germany. And I assume everyone can see my screen. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. And today also Victor is on the floor. Victor, you can stand up to say hi to everyone on site. This is a project conducted by Victor and me together. So follow up with previous speakers' talk, I think I will focus more on two countries to lay out a specific framework to guide us to see the regulatory process. The takeaway points first. In this study, we argue we choose China and Germany because they are important players in the process of technological development and AI governance. And in particular, we decompose the AI governance from different aspects, as like Darren just mentioned, like now the governance structure became more complicated, not just about the AI governance, also algorithm governance, data governance. So in this particular article, we propose a multi-stakeholder perspective, which include the interaction among policy instrument actors and issue domains, which I'm going to analyze in details. And the takeaway message is we argue China adopts a utility-based governance model while Germany adopts a right-based model. And the logic behind these regulatory models points on a specific political and economic context and adjusts the tension between nation state and the global market and reflects the balance between technology development and ethical concerns. Allow me to elaborate a little bit more about a few key concepts. I think the three speakers all mentioned about the AI governance. So basically, this is a field trying to balance the tension. On one hand, we're trying to facilitate the AI development for better humanity, better life. On the other hand, we try to mitigating the risk and navigating the transition towards a more advanced system. But at this moment, the whole AI governance structure is still in a stage of infancy. The regulatory framework is not well developed yet. As Gilly just mentioned, a very impressive study conducted by Consumer Council about a comparative study. And here we try to look into more specific regulatory process, how China and Germany make their framework in a different approach. In order to analyze the AI governments, we need to borrow some theoretical tools. So the first dimension we look into is what I call typology of policy instruments. So basically, we look at the two different dimensions, like what kind of subjects your policy trying to regulate, individual or the environments. Or we look at another dimension, the party, like electoral co-organization or the group interest organization by the extent of coercion. So basically, we look at four different types of instrument called distributive policy, constituent policy, redistributive policy, and regulative policies. And we are going to see how China and Germany adopt a different type of policy in regulating AI development. And the second dimension about this perspective is we look into the issue domain of the AI regulation. So we basically simplify into two categories that echo with today's seminar's theme. On one hand, we look into the ethics laws and regulations, is more conservative protection role. On the other hand, we look into the technology policy, which aimed for development. Then we also look into the policy making actors, the government, private sectors, as the review or survey indicate, like in Hong Kong, citizens has really low trust in private sectors in terms of AI development. We also look into the NGOs, say, for example, education sector is one big sector, and also the general public. In terms of level of the policy applications, we also look into the national level and global international level. So based on this kind of framework, we specifically look into two cases, China and Germany. This is a global innovation index ranking, and you can generally see the rank of the China and Germany. They are, I think, besides US, they all these are top countries or top regions in the world in terms of innovation index. And if you look specifically into the AI patent applications, you do see like China has a huge increase in terms of AI patent chain. And then in terms of specific numbers, actually China ranked #1 and Germany was like #5. Based on that basic information, we also look into the private investment in China and Germany in terms of AI industry. And in this figure, you can see the dark figure is China's private investment, and the light one is Germany's. So overall market size of AI technology in China is ramping up rapidly. From 2015 to 2018, increased 44%, range almost every single consumer sectors. But the rapid development of AI innovations and mounting control over the private sphere in China doesn't represent the overall global trend. If we look into the German side, here also you can see the China's AI development is not equal, even within China. You can see the distribution of AI talents. It usually focuses on the major big cities, and the AI cities distribution by different cities, you can see the first tier is Beijing, and then the second tier have the Xi'an, Nanjing, Shanghai, Wuhan, and then third tier has Changsha, Guangzhou, Chengdu, Harbin, Hangzhou. So even within China, it has a very unequal development of the AI industry. Then Germany is a different story. Germany is also on a rising trend, but also comparing with China, the scale is not, still has a gap between China and Germany. According to one of the most recent study, 14% of German private companies test the ability of AI for the future industrial application. 14% is actually much lower than Hong Kong and China as well. And only 4% of them fully implement AI into activities. And in 2% of them are currently on the active stage of AI integration. So in this sense, even though Germany rank very high in innovation, but they are still in the beginning of AI integration process. Based on this background, we go into to see how two different AI governance model works. So particularly, we see the China mainly displayed through a co-integration of state and private players together into the promotion, rapid economic progress, and the stability of political systems. The focus of national innovation system has made towards a reinforcement of economic and state autonomy with the downgrade of ethical principles, even though the ethical principles has been a huge popular discussion among public discourse. Now we look at specific policies how in the past years China has issued. If you only search the official policies which include artificial intelligence, actually the first policies can go back to 1981. There was a policies about building association for artificial intelligence companies. And over the years, you can see start from 1915s onwards, there's a huge increase of national policies towards AI development, and lots of institutions got involved. In terms of domain policies, and we distinguish 4 different domain highlights for strategic policies. Basically, is target for economic development for China to secure its position in global competition. And you also see from 1915 onwards, there is increased trend of security policies. People really, lawmakers and policymakers really concerned about national security issues. And law only have 2 in the law status. And there are actually some ethical principles in action here, but of course later I'm going to mention all these ethical concerns is more about stuff on the paper instead of weak in applications. In terms of policy domains, we can see majority of the concern goes to the economic development, strategic policies. And if we look into the type of policy instrument, majority of the type policy instrument is constituency. It's about the propaganda, about the environment of the court. And then distributive and redistributive and regulatory is about the same amount, and redistributive policy is the weakest one in this sense. And then this is a visual illustration about how regional competition, how intense in China. You can see the number of policies issued by each province. You can see, for example, in here in 2020, Heilongjiang have 6 policies out, but in Jiangsu, about 73 number of policy documents by province. So in some sense, the internal or inter-provincial competition within China for building up the AI development and AI governments are more intense than the competition between China and other countries, say, for example, China and Vietnam and some small countries. So there's a huge regional inequality in China you will observe in building up the AI governance. And this is a descriptive mapping of the AI governance map. Takeaway message from here is this is really simplify the AI governance model in China. In the center is the state, around the center is variety of the government and NGOs, all kind of institutions, and they all connected with 4 different set of the policies. Law, only 2 laws connected. And then here you have the ethical concerns. Actually, on the paper, China do have lots of ethical principles. And then you also have the, security policies and also focus on the economic development. So these 4 areas, 4 different type of the policy instrument really build up the China's AI governance structure, and which is tightly connected with different institutions and under the direction of the state. So brief message is here you can see a state lead top-down governance structure. In Germany, there's a different story. So as part of the European ecosystem, Germany with its extensive national regulation of new technology plays a role of the central actor in Europe. So comprehensive system of standardization and legal assessment of AI systems dominate by security and ethical concerns together with an open multi-sector discussion of AI policies create a very suitable climate for Germany with its right-driven model. This model not only contributes to the pan-European architecture, also a global governance texture as well. And similarly, we also look into the number of policies, the domains of the policies, and the domain distributions, and the type of the instrument that Germany used. We will continue to deep further into the difference. The last point here is we want to look into how this nation state interact with the global actors. And on table 3, you see a representation of global AI governance. And clearly you can see with each global network, Germany plays more significant roles on China. So simply the conclusion, here, we try to argue by survey all the regulatory process, by survey how different institutions interact with each other. China present a utility-driven model of AI governance, which featured with a state-led, a multi-institutional network, aggressive policy making to systematize the development of AI technology across the country, and growing pressure on the commercial sectors to align with the state guidelines and state purpose. Inclusion of ethical requirement, which is a lot, but like they are usually weak in applications. And the purpose of increasing this ethical requirement is more to facilitate the national development strategies. So overall, this is like a top-down, growth-oriented perspective. On Germany, we try to argue it's a right-driven model of AI governance, focus on protection of citizen rights, emphasizes on democratization of innovation. A recent ethical acts intend to restrict AI practices that don't comply with the values, and also exert additional pressure on the IT companies and AI-related innovations. So of course, that kind of argument will invoke lots of discussion. Say, for example, how do we see the Chinese status as the misconceptions on Chinese leading status in AI applications here? I think since time is limited, I try to save more time for further discussion. Let me stop here, and you are welcome to raise any questions or directly email me for further communication. Thank you. Victor, hopefully I make some time for discussion.
Yeah, okay, let's start the discussion first. The first question, we start the discussion in Chinese, okay? 我想第一條問題咧問下 Gilly 啊，咁 Gilly 啊，你哋消委會嘅報告同埋我哋呢個CTU 嘅嗰個研究咧，都喺2021年同2020年進行啦。咁你發覺兩個報告裏邊有咩嘢相同點，或者有咩嘢 finding 咧？你覺得係有趣同有啲相同，大致好似有同一個 finding 咁咧？
其實同城大啱啱發表咗嗰個研究報告咧，有啲地方係好近似嘅。特別係問消費者嗰陣時，就係問佢哋對人工智能嘅關注點咧。其實大家得出嚟嘅結果都好近似，就係消費者好着重個網絡安全同埋呢一個私隱保障，因為都佔咗一半嘅 respondents 咧，都係就住呢兩點咧係非常之着重。咁但係咧知行不合一呢一樣嘢咧，都係共通嘅。大家雖然佢哋就話我好關注自己嘅私隱，但係咧 譬如喺我哋嘅報告咧，就已經揾到咧，佢哋有一個實際網購嗰陣時咧，個行為係非常之鬆懈，都冇養成自己保護自己嗰個私隱個人私隱嗰個嘅習慣。譬如話頭先再重複少少啦，高達60% 係冇讀過私隱嗰個政策，或者係唔知道乜嘢係私隱政策。咁亦都有成27% 咧，就會忽略呢個小型文字檔或者啲 cookies 啊嗰啲設置信息。咁所以咧，我諗就住消費者對呢一方面嗰個關注，我覺得喺社會上邊真係要做多啲功夫。你唔可以話一方面你就好緊張，但係另外一方面就自己乜都唔做。我哋喺另外一啲嘅報告，譬如話可持續消費都係有同一情況。我知支持可持續消費好緊要啊，但係叫你去 recycle 一啲嘢嗰陣時咧，就消費者係表示亦都係承認自己的懶惰。咁我哋都會覺得咧，喺一個教育同埋點樣去推動佢哋去自己做多啲功夫呢一點咧，係非常之緊要噶。
OK，咁我想問下 Darron，頭先阿 Gilly 所提及咗個喺無論喺人工智能同埋喺成大嘅研究裏邊咧，或者喺 e-commerce 嘅研究裏邊，都覺得消費者比較關注就係私隱，即係呢啲咁嘅 application 啊，呢啲咁嘅應用程式可能會帶嚟私隱嘅問題。我諗作為一個你喺業界都做過 IT 嘅 app， 即係都做到好多功夫啦。咁我想問，即係其實業界或者係公司可以做啲乜嘢，可以喺而家嘅情況改善呢個嘅即係問題咧？
首先我好多謝消委會做一份好好嘅 research 啦。其實裏邊我相信好多嘅 findings 咧，我諗可以同我哋 professional body 去大家睇下點樣可以有啲合作，令到佢個增加透明度俾消費者嘅嚇。咁我回應翻阿 Victor 嘅問題啦。咁其實個 transparency 係緊要嘅。好似我頭先個 presentation 我好匆匆咁樣講過少少，就係譬如我哋公司去做一個 facial recognition 嘅時候，好多人有好多嘅 concern， 好多嘅擔憂。喂，咁你係咪真係要收集我哋啲嘅樣貌啊，各樣嘢咁樣？咁我哋就要解釋翻，其實我哋根本就唔需要去儲你哋嘅樣貌。咁我哋亦都會係只不過係將你樣貌呢啲嘅特徵，用一啲點嘅形式去記錄低，完全唔可能喺我哋 database 度去揾到任何樣。咁個 transparency 呢樣係緊要嘅。如果其他嘅一啲嘅 program， 譬如話我哋成日好大爭論嘅安心出行咁先算啦。咁或者類似咁嘅 application， 其實而家我哋 IT 界好多嘢，我哋所謂嘅 open source 啦，即係其實個個都睇到裏邊個 coding 係點樣。因為大家係擔心，如果你係一個 bad boss， 大家咪擔心我哋其實裏邊係做啲咩嘢嘅咧。如果係一個 open source 嘅，其實大家睇到裏邊根本有個 coding 係點樣嘅，咁咪釋除嗰個疑慮咯。咁如果譬如話嗱，頭先我唔記得係咪 Professor Chang 有講到之後點樣解釋。我覺得從來做嘢都係唔好係 after the fact 去解釋嘅，應該係 before that 我哋就要去 foresee 一啲嘅問題，去做一啲嘅功夫去解釋，去 foresee 一啲嘅問題嚟到去解釋釋除我哋嘅消費者又好，我哋嘅 user 又好，佢哋個疑慮。咁譬如話我哋可以去揾一啲嘅 professional body 或者一啲公信力嘅機構，去消委會咁樣 before 出街之前，我哋已經揾佢哋做一啲好independent 嘅 assessment。所謂 independent assessment， 我哋一定係有一啲科學根據。我哋譬如話我哋做一啲risk assessment， 我哋都會有一啲嘅 framework 我哋去 follow 嘅。咁 before 出街之前，我哋已經去做完呢啲 assessment， 去清清楚楚話俾公眾知道，其實呢啲係我哋已經睇過晒 endorse 晒，裏邊冇一啲違反 privacy 嘅嘢。咁呢個其實就已經係可以去幫到嘅嚇。咁當然啦，一定係一啲係有公信力嘅 professional body 或者機構啦。咁我相信譬如話消委會啊，或者CMA， 我哋都可以做到呢一方面咯。
好，咁咧我就想問咧，譬如頭先招騰呢個係即係可能喺資訊啊或者發放方面嘅透明度都增強啦。咁無可否認咧，就係即係 人工智能呢個啲應用嘅程式本身係裏邊存在一啲比較複雜嘅系統同複雜嘅知識背景。咁響譬如過往消委會同埋大學啊，可能同埋即係 professional body 都做過好多嘅即係教育工作啊，或者公眾教育工作。咁其實喺呢方面，其實喺你哋嘅經驗裏邊，喺人工智能嘅應用裏邊咧，其實喺邊一方面咧係可以做得好一啲喺公眾教育裏邊，以至我哋整體上嘅對人工智能嘅了解啊，或者應用嗰種嘅即係接受性啊，係可以增強嘅。即係我咁是但一個 Dr. J 或 Dr. Lim 或者係阿 Gilly 或者係 Darron 你隨便，或者Dr. Lim 你答先啦。
You want to go first?
Okay, 我廣東話麻麻地 so I have to use English to answer this one. I think you are asking about the role of the third party, especially the universities. I think it's very important. University not only just serve as a inventor, knowledge like entrepreneur, actually, they invent lots of the patents based on which the applications based on, but also university take a very important role as an educator as well. I think in this technology world, the interdisciplinary education is way more important. Say, for example, we have, you mentioned about autonomous vehicles dilemma, right? In Hong Kong, citizens would prefer to kill self instead of to hit other pedestrians. But there was a whole field of called ethical computing. People are working, computer scientists were working with the social scientists, trying to figure out how to build in the ethical concerns into the algorithm. And on the other hand, I also want to share these slides with you. This is data is a little bit outdated. This is like a 2016 claim counts, the patterns. I used Hong Kong versus Shenzhen as a city as a comparison. Here you can clearly see the top 10 cities in Hong Kong, like Chinese University, City University, and all the universities rank very high in terms of number of patents. So in this case, like university play a significant role. And if you look into the AI, specific AI related patents, like Hong Kong Poly U, CTU, Chinese U also rank on this top 20 institutions with AI paper output. So in this sense, I think university play a very significant role here. I hopefully that's your question based on my opinion.
Gilly, 你嘅睇法咧?
Sure. Maybe I answer in English to support Dr. Lin together. All right. I will not repeat about consumer education front because they just want very simple, easy to follow tips, and we have to keep reminding them all the time. They have to be responsible for their own behavior. But what I want to add is about the traders' education. Remember 20 years ago when the concept of sustainability introduced in the market, everyone, especially the traders, will say, oh, it is too difficult, it is too vague, I don't know how, and I have no idea how to implement it. But over time, there are many, there are very established principles, very established requirements, listing requirements, etc., and reporting requirements on the ESG. I think the situation is very similar to AI. And in order to accelerate the development of AI and ensure that it is a win-win marketplace for both consumer as well as the traders, it is extremely essential right now at this point in time to start educating the traders, the industry side. Reasons being is, in fact, AI is very intransparent to consumers. All the algorithm is working at the back end, and all the experience will only be featured like a function in any applications. It is very difficult for consumers to perceive what is AI and what's not AI. So it is extremely important for trader to have the concept of ethical AI internalized right at the beginning, and that require very strong education from different industries, from the regulators, from advocacy bodies like us, that it is extremely essential, because if you want a sustainable AI market, you better do it right now. So I do believe this is a very important thing. big organizations like the CMA, like many Chamber of Commerce in Hong Kong, Retail Association, etc. We will have to approach them and let them buy into the whole idea and also to start taking actions on it.
Okay, I don't repeat the point from Gilly and also Dr. Lin. So I agree that education is very important to promote AI, but not only for the consumer or the end user, but I think it's more important to do some education to our lawmaker, and also the regulator. Honestly, from my experience, I find that many regulators, they may not have very technical sense. So they may be the showstopper at the end because they don't know the technology. So I think we have to explain to them and let them to understand the technology and the risk behind, so that they can set some appropriate law and regulation on AI technology. And also I think the most effective training or education is before the fact. So I think before we launch any new initiative, we should provide some education to the general public. If possible, we may have some focus group, because if the education is too generic, the result may not be so effective. So for example, if we want to promote the facial recognition technology, I think if we will install some facial recognition system in office, so we may provide some education or some training to the staff there before we roll out. Similar for some robotic dog monitoring system. So before we roll out, we should educate the general public, or we should educate the key stakeholders what the technology behind to make it more transparent. So focus is quite important.
咁咧有個參與者就問一個問題啦，就問係咪因為香港太多人關注私隱問題，以致令到我哋香港響一個即係人工智能嘅應用比較落後於其他地方咧？即係可能之後正如阿Gilly講兩人嘅利劍啊，即係可能出現咗一個咁嘅情況。但係你冇啲覺得即係頭先我哋個 finding 都揾到就最重要嘅 concern 係 privacy 啦，消費者委員會都係揾到呢個，都係 user 同 consumer 嘅 concern 嚟。咁就係因為呢個 concern 嘅時候，會唔會就係令到個市場個發展係即係會緩慢咗咧？咁樣即係有個參與者咁問。
嗱，我嘗試去了解下條問題啦。我唔係好明白點解AI 嘅 implementation 同個 privacy 係咁樣直接掛鈎嘅。嗱，當然啦，有一啲嘅AI application 係可能會牽涉到 privacy， 譬如我一直去 call 嗰個 facial recognition， 會令到有人去擔心個 privacy。但係譬如話喺譬如我哋 cyber security， 我哋用好多 AI 嘅，咁嗰度啲人又點解會覺得同privacy 掛鈎咧？咁其實我覺得好難去一竹篙去扮晒一船人嘅。咁嗱，我覺得個 fact 係我自己 observation 係 AI 本身唔係一樣簡單嘅嘢。咁大家嗱講就好容易嘅，即係我哋點樣 apply 個 AI， 其實我哋講係好容易嘅，但係其實好多人諗住去讀 AI， 原來背後發覺死啦，原來咁深，要一啲好 strong 嘅數學嘅根基，佢哋先做到嘅。咁所以佢哋發覺原來我係覺得呢樣嘢好有興趣，但係其實根本係讀唔嚟嘅。 咁變咗喺develop 呢啲咁嘅 expert 之前，因為我哋有 expert，我哋先至可以發展 AI 噶嘛。咁如果我哋根本係冇啲咁嘅人，發展唔到，變咗我哋發展唔到啊！我哋冇啲咁嘅人才，變咗我哋係需要去可能甚至乎去到中學嗰個 level，我哋已經要 promote 其實 AI 係啲咩嚟嘅，令到有興趣嘅學生、有興趣有 talent 嘅學生，佢先入去大學度去讀呢一科，咁 so that 佢哋出嚟先至去可以喺呢一方面做研究啊嘛。即係我覺得，如果我哋係香港要有一個比較 long term 嘅 planning 咧，其實我哋應該真係由教育開始嘅嚇。咁至於你話個 privacy 同埋 AI 一般大眾，如果真係喺個 survey 裏邊發現有咁嘅 correlation 嘅時候咧，咁我哋就要真係可能要做多少少，譬如做一啲 focus group 去問一啲比較 deep dive 少少嘅問題，令睇下佢哋其實 underlying 佢哋擔心啲乜嘢，點解其實有啲嘢可能根本係一啲俾佢哋都係俾人 mislead 咗嘅，佢哋以為嗰樣嘢係會影響 privacy， 其實唔係嘅。即係我覺得呢度如果係有啲咁嘅 finding 咧，我覺得係值得去 deep dive 落去研究下咯，而唔係話一啲我哋聽啲 rumor 就覺得哦喲呢樣嘢係會影響 privacy 嘅。因為而家嗱老實講唔止 AI 嘅，香港好多嘢都話啲人係擔心 privacy 嘅，但係就變咗over worry 咧，我覺得我哋值得去探討嘅呢樣嘢。
OK，咁多謝。咁咧，我哋將時間交翻俾Dr. Chan先，因為時間差唔多啦。
或者我最嘢好得簡單，又回應最後嗰條問題，話點解 AI 發展得慢同 privacy 嘅問題。我呢個猜上嚟啫。我覺得香港有個傳統咧，遇到啲咩新科技啊，遇到啲咩麻煩咧，就外國點做㗎？人哋點做㗎？就等人哋搞掂先咧，我哋先至去發展㗎。即係香港嗰個科技發展好多時有一個即係 wait and see 嘅 tendency， 同埋好怕風險啊。出咗事點算啊？邊個負責啊？咁阿 Darron 你 post 一個大陸嗰個發展咧，就係話輕微嘅犯規咧就唔會懲罰咁樣。咁即係你要俾人哋唔好好似死板咁跟住啲 rules and regulation 咧，個科技先至可以有創新噶嘛。但係呢個唔係香港嘅 culture 嚟。香港嘅排名雖然都算高喎 innovation， 但係都唔係好高，即係差過好多地方或者仲係。咁但係我覺得其中就係一個咁嘅傳統。咁呢個唔係過去香港嘅成功都係咁樣嘅。人哋做到啲嘢啦，搞掂晒啦，咁我哋就喺香港再發展咁樣。咁我估 AI 我哋比其他國家發展得慢咧，係可能呢個可能係一個原因啦。OK，由於時間關係啦，咁我哋都要即係完㗎啦。咁就係我哋完之前咧，我好想多謝各位講者嘅報告啦，同埋大家嘅提問啊，同埋comments 啦。咁尤其是亦都想多謝 Institute of Certified Management Accountants Hong Kong Branch 同埋Institute of Public Accountants 兩個機構嘅support 啦嚇。咁好多謝大家。咁或者我哋今日就到此為止。OK，
唔該晒大家。Thank you，拜拜。
拜拜。
有個 feedback 嘅。
sorry，咩事啊？少少咩事？
我哋有個 feedback survey。
OK。
請大家
大家留步啊！唔好意思。
如果你未走得閒嘅，可以同我哋填翻個 feedback survey 啊！多謝你哋。
有個 QR code 嘅係咪？
係啊 QR code。
係啊，希望大家可以留步，即係填埋個 feedback。
識晒嘅，好多謝各位。
多謝各位。